More to come from around Britain, but let's just go over the road now to the House of Commons and talk to our political editor, Nick Robinson, who's there in the lobby. Nick, I want to look at the big picture in a second, but first, the BNP. Do you think the British public is now changing its mind about this party?
Well, the evidence isn't there for that, George, because you might assume, given that they now have two members of the European Parliament, had none before, that there's been a sweeping increase in votes for the BNP. In fact, in the northwest of England, where Nick Griffin was elected, he got fewer votes this time than he did 5 years ago. Then why, you say, has he got elected? Because the way these European elections work is it's not the total number of votes you get, but the share of the vote. And why was he getting in there for? Because Labour's vote collapsed. Just listen to these figures. 576,000 people voted Labour in the northwest 5 years ago. This year, 336. That's 240,000 Labour supporters stayed at home. Now, don't get me wrong, there was anger with the main parties, and some people, as we heard in the report, voted BNP for that reason. There has been long-term anger about the issue of immigration for 5 or 10 years, and some people believe that the BNP represents their views on that. But there is no evidence that the country is embracing them.
Nick, in one of those meeting rooms just above you, I think, Gordon Brown right now is being confronted by his MPs. How do you think he's going to fare?
Well, we already know a little bit. When he walked into that room, there were MPs queuing to cheer him in. They banged their desks, as they always do, to show their support. There is a script always for these sorts of events. They are stage managed, George. We in the media tend to fall for it by saying these are make or break meetings. Then the Prime Minister gives what's described as the speech of his life. Labour MPs are told to pour out and say that he's done brilliantly and the problem is over. Hey presto, 2 days later, the problem re-emerges. Tonight, the rebels are trying to change that script. A number of them have told me they will stand up and say to his face, "You are the problem, you have to go." That is a brave thing to do, it is a lonely thing to do, and it depends on the chairman of that meeting actually picking them to speak. It is a sign that he's still in some trouble, but it is also a sign of the weakness of the rebels. They did not get a full-scale cabinet coup, and they have not managed to get enough names to sign a letter or an email to trigger a leadership contest under Labour's rules.
All right, Nick, we'll come back to you a little later in the programme. Now, as we've heard, in Scotland, the SNP has won the largest share of the European election vote for the first time.